Hello, BookTube. I've got a little mail for you. It's a cold, raw, wet day. It's been dark and rainy for 2 days straight now, and it looks like it's going to continue for a while longer. So my one consolation is that it's not snow. Although the rain is no consolation for my little Frida. She hates inclement weather of any kind. She's perfectly happy to strut along in bright sunlight and scream at people to stop and cuddle and pet her. But if it's inclement outside, oh, she doesn't like that any more than I do. I don't know whether she's getting that from me or it's enhancing me that she has it. Although I'm a little too, at 28, I'm a little too old for it, but partly, there's a part of me that pines just a little. It's been a long, long time now. My girls, my Basset Hound and my Pointer, did not like inclement weather at all. Windy, dark, cold, or rainy weather frightened my Pointer. So she wasn't all that good a pointer, not in terms of what the breed was developed for. She was an unbelievably sweet angel, just in her own right. But it's no surprise to me that her original owners, when she was a tiny little puppy, didn't think she had what was made for a working dog. And my Basset Hound Lucy hated the rain. She was right on the ground. There was like an inch of clearance between her and the ground, so I imagine I would hate it too. And that was the reality for 12 years, and then for the next 3 years, they were just old and their bones were achy in cold, damp weather. So you have to go back a long way with me, longer even than that. You have to go back a couple of dogs before them to get to a beagle or a number of beagles who were willing to go out, eager to go out in all weathers and just experience it. And I remember, even on days like today, spitting sideways cold rain, the sleet that will certainly be coming before December is over. I remember on days like that, the joy that you could have in experiencing the world in that way. To be deep in the woods in that kind of weather has a kind of bleak joy to it. But I'm not going to have that anytime soon. I have terriers are very much indoor dogs. They're very much made that way, which is a little bit strange for me because I for 15 years I had a Basset Hound and a Pointer, two breeds that were made for outdoor employment. They were genetically enhanced for outdoor employment. My two girls were not outdoor dogs at all, but nevertheless, you could see it a little in the way they react outdoors versus the way they react indoors. And of course, before that, for 800 years, it was beagles that I had, just big crowds of beagles with the triangular heads and the white flag tails up in the air. Very much made for the outside and not to be inside at all. Even little beagles really were made for the outside. But terriers were made to hunt in the basement. A lot of them were made to sit on the couch and be companion dogs. They're wonderful company. I've noticed that about Frida right from the beginning. She's wonderful company. Really is attentive and not at all pining. Anyway, we were going to do the mail, weren't we? A long time ago when this video started, we were going to do the mails. The whole point being that these days have been miserable, just miserable. And the only thing that's been stopping me from just whining nonstop about them is that this exact kind of weather system, the exact kind of weather data that is informing this just stubborn, low-lying sleet, in just a month, this same kind of weather pattern is going to produce snow for 3 days, or bitter cold for 3 days. So it's not optimal at all, but it's better than it could be. So let's see what this first one is. Oh no, baby, this has all sorts of stuff in it. You don't want to tear this apart. No, I'll give you the next one. Oh my. Okay, this is from Oxford. This is a long time in the future. Oxford always is. This is May. This is from May, when winter will be a distant memory. And this is about religion. Just had someone contact me who wants to take a crack at reviewing religious books. Fine by me. This is by Peter Thusen, and it's called Tornado God. American Religion and Violent Weather. We are prone to resist mystery, gravitating instead toward black and white explanations and unambiguous conclusions. Since when? Who's this we, Kimosabe? For many, this affirmation comes in the form of science and religion, which offers them predictability through laws or doctrine. And yet the natural phenomenon of a tornado bedevils both theologians and meteorologists alike. What on earth does that mean? Meteorologists are not bedeviled by tornadoes. Tornadoes are fairly easy to understand and predict and estimate. In this groundbreaking new history, the author captures the harrowing drama of tornadoes as clergy, theologians, meteorologists, and ordinary citizens struggle to make sense of these death-dealing tempests. Okay, all right. Meteorologists in that crowd of people do not struggle to make sense of tornadoes. Tornadoes are not mysteries at all. That's kind of strange. It's kind of strange that note would be struck twice. Striking the United States more than any other nation, tornadoes consistently defy scientific efforts to plot their course. Well, to plot their exact course, sure. Minute changes in pressure or wind or even ground topography, but we can see them forming. We can send planes inside them. We can estimate a whole bunch of stuff down to the last decimal point, and that's just in the last 10 years. So, anyway, similarly, tornadoes bring us to the outer limits of theology, pulling at the mysteries of how we can reconcile suffering with a loving God and the seeming randomness of tragedies. Okay, there you go. You're on firmer ground there. Christians who believe that not a sparrow falls without God's permission have a hard time understanding tornadoes that touch down in rural Iowa and plow through 3 churches and then disappear. They have a harder time explaining that than meteorologists do, because that certainly looks pointed. I have a lot of experience with tornadoes. I have a lot of experience with them. I spent a long time in the American Midwest, specifically in Indiana and Iowa, and you get tornadoes in Iowa, and it's an amazing feeling. I have been present pretty much when you can experience a tornado. The only time when you're going to experience a tornado and maybe not live through it is if it plows straight through you. But otherwise, you can come awful close and experience what it's like, and it's amazing. It is amazing. It is an amazing feeling, and it does things to the air, to the light, that you just don't. I've experienced weather phenomenon on many different continents, many different kinds of weather phenomenon. Never experienced anything quite like being at ground zero of a bad tornado. It's an amazing feeling. So this book features. It illustrates how extreme weather has complicated Americans' sense of self-determination, and it examines the ethics of human complicity in natural disasters through climate change. And this is the first general history of the primal connections between weather and religion in American history. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well, so this is, wow, that's what the cover's going to look like. Very nice. Very nice. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. I've been through pretty much every kind of major disaster that you can go through. The meteorological disaster. I've been through many tornadoes. I've been through earthquakes, which are by far the worst of them all. Don't let anybody tell you different. A tornado is a storm. It's wind. You automatically start thinking about cellars, strong stone buildings, that sort of thing, getting out of the way. Same thing with cyclones or hurricanes. But an earthquake? No. It's a good thing that they're mostly the shortest natural disaster, because they are by far the worst. Oh, by far the worst. But tornadoes have their own thing. They have their own feeling of, the sky turning green and this enormous, just body excavating sound in the air. I won't even call it wind rushing. It feels worse than that. This is very interesting. I will send this to this new would-be freelancer, and we'll see. I love it. I love it when people contact me. Some of you who might be new to the channel might wonder what the heck I'm talking about. I'm talking about Open Letters Review. Do you want this beat? Mm-hmm. The other one had stuff in it, but this one doesn't have stuff in it. You're perfectly free to... Oh no, Frida! Don't you want the package itself? Oh no! She's gone off with the string. I didn't see that coming. Here you go. Here, take the package itself. Sorry about the mess that you must have seen. I don't know what you saw, but when I swing the camera around, you must have seen The room is a mess right now. I've got an industrial strength extension cord extending across the room from the one good socket to power a portable space heater. But I've also got books on the floor, which I don't like at all, and which is very temporary. I am moving a bunch of stuff around, or rather, I'm not. The reason the stuff is on the floor is because my muscular young men are moving stuff around, and they're not here. So the place is a mess, but it won't be. By the end of November, it will be spick and span. So what is this? Oh, very good. Okay. All right, this is always fun. This author is always fun. And this is probably a December release. No, late November. All right, so this is coming right up. This is Under Occupation by the great Alan First, a classic spy novel writer of the 21st century, who has blurbs. This latest book has blurbs from the Washington Post, Publishers Weekly, David McCullough, and Tom Hanks. This is the author's latest work of historical espionage. Let's see here. 1942. Occupied Paris is a dark, treacherous city now ruled by the German security service, where French resistance networks are working secretly to defeat Hitler. Turn page here. Our story begins with the Gestapo chasing an unknown man who, in his moments before death, hands off a drawing to Paul Ricard. When Ricard notices it looks like part of a military weapon, he realizes it must be an important document smuggled out of Germany to aid the resistance. With this chance encounter, Ricard's life as a French novelist is upturned, and he is thrust into the French resistance network. So a dead man or dying man hands him something at the last minute, and somehow his Gestapo pursuers, don't realize it, and that implicates this guy. It pulls him right in. How can he even confess that he has the thing without being arrested himself? As Ricard is drawn deeper and deeper into the resistance, his increasingly dangerous assignments lead him to travel to Germany and along the underground safe houses of the resistance. Oh my. Okay, great, fantastic. Well, I'm up for it anyway. This author is pretty much guaranteed entertaining read. So I've got a lot of ancillary stuff here that I don't particularly need. Oh, look at that! Whole pages of appreciations of earlier works. Great. Oh, you don't see that very often. All right, so great. Just not a very long thing, and due at the end of the month, so I'll read it tonight. I know that I'll enjoy it. It's just a question of how much I enjoy it compared to other Alan First novels. But he's pretty reliable. And then let's do this last one. We've only got 3 packages. They're all cardboard. No manila envelopes, but no boxes either. Let's see what this next one is. What is this? Oh, okay, this comes out on the 1st of December. Oh my, this is by William Sheehan, and it is Saturn. Look at that. Wow, a new illustrated book on Saturn. On everything that we know about the planet Saturn. I love stuff like this. I love it. Saturn is the showpiece planet of our solar system because of its theatrical rings. It may not be the largest, nor the smallest, nor even the only planet with rings, but it is among the most stunning objects in the sky and is always breathtaking when seen in a telescope. This is a beautifully illustrated, authoritative overview of the entire history of mankind's fascination with the ringed planet, from the first low-resolution views by Galileo and other early observers with telescopes to the most recent discoveries by the spacecraft Cassini, which studied the planet at close range from 2004 to 2017. Saturn, this book, describes the planet from inside out, detailing the complicated system of rings and their interaction with Saturn's bevy of satellites. And it considers how Saturn formed and the role it played in early history of our solar system. Wow. Okay, well, I am an astronomy wonk. I am absolutely an astronomy wonk, and as an astronomy wonk, I will say what most astronomy amateurs maybe would not, which is that the rings of Saturn are by far the least interesting thing about it. It's the makeup of the planet. I'm wondering how much of that will be in here, or whether this will be a lot of history. I can't wait to find out. Again, this is 1st of December, so I've just got 2 books in the mail that I'm going to read right away. So we have Saturn by William Sheehan, We have Under Occupation by Alan First, his latest spy novel set in World War II. And we have Tornado God, a new book from Oxford coming out in the spring about God and the weather in American history. Fascinating stuff. So that's not bad. It's not a pile of books, but we've talked about a lot of books today. So I'm going to wrap this up and go see what the bean is eating. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.